Detective Blackwell entered the dim estate of the late reclusive painter Dominic Frayne, seeking clues behind the recent spate of macabre killings that eerily resembled Frayne's disturbing canvas scenes of ritual violence. Though the painter had no criminal record, his commission payment ledgers were filled with shadowy names and massive sums for grisly custom tableaus of terrified men and women mid-slaughter by faceless occultists. Blackwell's exploration of the dust-laden halls and portrait galleries showed no indication of actual violence performed on the premises. But turning down a narrow passage, Blackwell felt an uncanny chill and swell of dread as he entered Frayne's private studio. His flashlight illuminated the space and glinted off the remnants of arcane tools, ritual blades, glass vials, a human skull of unknown provenance. But most unsettling was the easel displaying an unfinished, nightmarish painting that seemed disturbingly familiar. Blackwell reeled in dismay as intricate details took shape in the scene. The female victim, contorted in restraints as an obsidian dagger hovered above her exposed chest, perfectly replicated the mutilated corpse of Diane Shore discovered not 48 hours past. The detective frantically compared crime scene photos with this forecast painting, confirming the impossible yet undeniable truth. Frayne had somehow depicted murders before the killer had acted them out. Racing back through the halls holding the damning painting, Blackwell almost tripped down the open cellar stairwell nearly obscured in the dark. Catching his balance on the landing, Blackwell's flashlight revealed a heavy oak door barely ajar. Behind it lay unimaginable revelations about the fate intertwining Blackwell and the sadistic forces that inspired Frayne's prophetic art. Blackwell crept through the oak door into a dim passage with wet stone walls twisting deep below the estate. Ancient esoteric symbols marked the descending path lit by ensconced candles that must have been recently extinguished. The occultist serial murderer must be lurking these tunnels, still tending this profane shrine. Emerging into a large, ceremonial chamber, Blackwell beheld a nightmarish altar, surrounded by 13 robed and hooded figures facing away frozen mid-ritual. But relief turned to confusion and dawning horror as closer inspection revealed the participants were desiccated, mummified corpses, not living men at all. Peering closer at their concealed faces, Blackwell reeled upon recognizing the withered visages of 12 notorious serial killers, vanished and never caught. The elaborate preservation and covert assembly of these infamous murderers for some ghastly ceremonial purpose raised unhinged implications almost beyond Blackwell's capacity to process. But a growing susurrus from shadowed recesses signaled he was not alone in the secret sanctuary. Blackwell followed the whispers behind the ring of cadavers to a smaller annex room. By the beam of his quavering flashlight, he saw they echoed from a large covered painting on an easel that must be Frayne's next work. And Blackwell too was the subject, his skin crawling as he beheld the central depiction of his own unconscious body chained to the altar surrounded by the hooded death cultists, raising obsidian daggers in unison ritual posture. In dawning comprehension, Blackwell now grasped he had been lured to this lair, having been selected the cult's newest sacrificial lamb for apotheosis. As the handles on the oak door slowly turned, Blackwell accepted his inescapable role for the unseen forces that had guided every omen to this moment. He would serve glory in death, so the heraldic prophecy encoded on these walls in ages past could at last be fulfilled.